Hey everyone, Kyle Meinke from MLive&apos. I'm at Soldier Field where the Lions have just lost 17-14 against the Chicago Bears. A really bad loss for a team that really needed to win. It's 3 straight now for the Lions. And in this one, it was the same mistakes we've seen in previous weeks. It was drop passes, it was penalties, it was failure of execution. The mistakes in this one, though, are particularly poignant considering how bad the Bears had been. They were winless, one of the worst teams in the NFC, hadn't won a game since last year. They lost 7 out of 8 overall. This is really one of the worst teams in the league. They were starting a backup quarterback, a third string running back, and they still were way too much for the Lions. And the defense was actually okay, as you would expect from the Lions, as you would expect playing against an offense that was so short-handed. But the offense for the Lions was disastrous in this game. It took them until midway through the second quarter to get their second first down. It was just a litany of mistakes. We saw penalties. We saw blown blocks from guys like Eric Ebron. One of the biggest mistakes of the game was Golden Tate, who's just been a disaster so far this year. Basically, there was a miscommunication between him and Stafford. They really tried to downplay it after the game, but it was very clear what happened. Stafford had done a hand check on that play. Golden Tate missed it, kept running straight when he was supposed to break off his route. Stafford threw it to the spot that Golden Tate was supposed to be at. Golden Tate obviously wasn't there. The ball's picked off, and that was a huge moment in turn of events in this game because it was one of the Lions' few scoring opportunities. They were deep in Bears territory at the end of the first half. They had a chance to at least get a field goal, if not a touchdown. Instead, they got 0 points on that drive, and they lost the game 17-14. That's just a huge miscue from a guy like Golden Tate, and he's been a guy who's made his fair share of mistakes this year. He was benched in the second half of this game, and Jim Caldwell didn't want to use the word bench. He got really upset when we used the word bench, but that's what it was, and that's what he deserves. He has less than 100 yards receiving still through 4 games. He's on track for his worst season since he was a rookie, playing 11 games for the Seahawks. And he has mistakes like the one in this game. Those are game-losing mistakes, and that's something that has plagued the Lions. They've been mostly defensive in the past couple of weeks, but week in and week out, they're finding ways to lose games, even against the worst teams. When you lose to a team like the Bears, down so many players, just a disaster, and you can't beat them, that makes you one of the worst teams in the league. I really believe that. Now the Lions have to go home, figure out a way to beat the Eagles, who are 3-0, who are one of the better, hotter teams right now. This thing is getting ugly fast for the Lions, and they seem to have no answers. That was one of my big takeaways from the locker room. I asked so many guys what's going on, and they talk about the same things that we've heard week in and week out. It's just a failure of execution. Coaches are giving us a good game plan. We knew what to expect from the Bears, and we just couldn't do it. And I asked Eric Ebron point blank, listen, Eric, you're talking about the things that we see. They're definitely there, but what do you do? What can you do going forward to fix these mistakes? And he's just paused for a second and said, I don't know, man. And that's probably the most honest moment of the locker room and the postgame for the Lions. Clearly a team without answers right now for what ails them. They are 1-3. They have lost 3 straight, and if they don't sort themselves out quickly, wholesale changes couldn't be ordered for this team. In Chicago, for MLive, I'm Kyle Meinke.